By far, the most requested superhero was the Punisher, so we're going to talk about the Punisher. For context, if you're new here, I made a video talking about how MAGA just found out that Superman's not on their side, and basically my argument is that no superheroes are really on the side of conservatives. So now we're going to make this a series. Now, as far as the rules, I want to lay out a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, I have editorial discretion of what I choose to include in here. However, if I forget something or have something wrong, you guys are my co-authors. Put it in the comments below so that anybody else watching this can find out more information. And number two, I think it's important to also try to focus the conversation on things that might be more widely known or more easy to interpret based on watching a movie or a TV series, because not a lot of people are going to read comic books, myself included. So without any further ado, here's a few reasons why I don't think conservatives would like the Punisher very much. Now, by far, I think one of the most known things about the Punisher is that he basically doesn't really believe in the justice system. He believes that it's broken, and that is why he exists. He basically has decided the system has not worked how it's supposed to. It failed me, and it fails a bunch of other people. Therefore, I'm going to become a vigilante that does my version of justice to the best of my ability. And since we all know that MAGA kind of like props up the system and that conservatives really believe in the system, I would say that that's one huge red flag for the Punisher where they would disagree. And going along with that, he particularly tends to target criminal organizations. And if you know anything about his backstory, that makes a lot of sense. His wife and his kids were basically killed by like the mafia, so of course he's going to go after crime bosses. One thing I found particularly interesting is that he especially loves to go after criminals who target children, who harm children, or who recruit children into a life of crime. And I actually really respect that because, as we know, conservatives don't really care if you hurt children. Along with that, he's actually self-aware enough to not really think of himself as a hero. He kind of just sees himself as a man with a moral code who is seeking his own version of justice, and that often puts him at odds with other superheroes such as Daredevil, Captain America, etc., etc., etc. And to that end, he has a tendency to kind of get into it with other superheroes who he feels don't necessarily fall into the realm of what he would consider justice. For instance, he fights with Daredevil all of the time because Daredevil kind of wants to work within the system, and the Punisher's like, the system doesn't work, why would you try to do that? But also, like, he has this ability to admit when he's wrong, like when he attacked Superman and then he was like, whoa, 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 I was given bad information, like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, he will admit to his wrongdoings, which is something that conservatives really don't do. Conservatives also have a tendency to really exalt people who get off on their crimes and don't have to do any jail time, or especially to ask for people to be pardoned even though they were found guilty of a crime. And as far as I can tell from the comic books, the Punisher has actually gone to jail for his crimes before. He's also an ex-Marine, and as far as I can tell, MAGA actually loves people who dodge the draft, and they also have a tendency to really not care about the veterans that much. He's also literally fought a villain named Hate Monger, and I don't know if there's a more specific way to say that he does not believe in conservatives' ideals. This is also like a very niche thing that I saw, so I don't know how much of it's canon and how much of it is really respected by Punisher fans, but I guess he was black for a little bit and like literally fought alongside Luke Cage and everything. So yeah, I mean, like, you know, low-key, they don't love black people, so. But I think the most obvious indication that the Punisher does not mess with conservatives, MAGA, anybody that has that sort of value system, is the fact that he changed his logo to distance himself from them. I believe there's literally like a comic where he runs into some people who seem to be representatives of like the MAGA movement, and they're using his logo and talking like about praising him, and he's like, you don't represent me at all. And basically after that they changed the logo. And this was like fairly recently, like in the last like 5 years. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I got for my extensive research into the Punisher and why conservatives would hate him. If I missed something, got something wrong, or you just want to chime in, leave some comments below. And please also let me know if you'd rather hear about the X-Men next or Captain America. Those are the two that I'm debating. I do want to do Batman, but he has so much lore that it's going to take me a minute to get through it. Also, as a side note, this whole experiment has taught me how much I don't really look at like straight white male superheroes. I mostly pay attention to females and people of color. So this has been fun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a lot of this series, and I'm about to learn a lot about those guys.